This is a very strange request to me, but someone told me that this is just a genre of video that people are doing now. I've never seen one before, so I don't know how well I'm going to accomplish it, but I'm willing to give it the old college try. I enlisted the help of my brother to hopefully keep me from completely failing to make this funny, and so it became a new kind of Fraternacons video. I don't know that it will be a type that we do again, but it was fun to do this time. The raw cut of the audio was an hour long, and I chopped that down to 30 minutes. Fortunately, what to cut and what to leave was an easy decision. Hope it lives up to your expectations. Welcome to a bad fanfic reading with the Fraternacons. Welcome to a very special episode of the Fraternacons, where we do a thing that I don't understand. Do you have any insights on why someone would want me to do this?
No.
Riveting conversation here.
Yes.
So why don't you be the one to read this, because I have a habit of getting ahead of myself while reading.
Okay. This lore was for now defunct Transformers X, Five Nights at Freddy's X, Five Nights at
Cece's Endless Pasta Salad and Dessert Buffet.
FNaC.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Well, we can look it up. Five Nights at Candy's point-and-click survival horror fan game of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, we're getting into Five Nightsception at this point.
Now that we know this has no influence on the canonical Five Nights at Freddy's or Transformers timeline. This will summarize the War for Cybertron, Journey to Earth, and to the Dominion storyline. Happy over 300. This is dedicated to the 300 and plus people watching me. Where does it start?
I mean, your password starts, but hey, congratulations, man, on over 300.
It's impressive.
This is War for Cyber.
There's more people than who watch the Fraternacons. The War for Cybertron. Inequality is rampant, and Megatron has had enough of this shit. So just as Orion Pax makes the transition to Optimus Prime, he storms the Coronation Hall, overthrows the Quintesson High Council, and plunges Cybertron into years of war, believing that he is the rightful Prime, and Optimus wants to put a new and worse council in place. With resources depleted and Cybertron scorched in ruin, eventually the Autobots leave in the Arrowhead. The Decepticons, of course, will follow in their ship, the Nemesis.
I think by the Arrowhead, I think the Arrowhead, he just means the Ark for some reason.
Yeah.
He's calling it the Arrowhead.
Maybe that was called that at some point.
I don't know. We're ramping up relatively quickly. War's already happened and war's already over.
Do the Quintessons oversee who gets to be a Prime?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly who is or is not.
Where do the Five Nights at Freddy's go? I'm scrolling around. I'm seeing some vaguely recognized. Neither of us really have ever played Five Nights at Freddy's.
I mean, I played the first one. The first jump scare happened to me, and I felt literally nothing at all. Like my heart didn't even pick up a beat.
That's really hardcore. You're really cool.
Fuck off.
You're so cool.
No, I was just like, wow, is this really the game? Is this what's supposed to be scary? And then I played it a little bit longer, and it was just, yeah, that's the game, and it just did nothing for me.
Yeah, I never really understood the appeal either. It just seems kind of tedious.
Yeah, that's what I found.
The Autobots have been wandering space for centuries to find a new home, and soon they will approach the Earth. The cons show up and fuck up everything!
Mature.
Exclamation point. A battle ensues between factions. Prime and Megatron retreat to the top of the Arrowhead for a one-on-one. However, before Megatron can land the final blow, Optimus throws him to the tip and asks him one question. Can your armor survive atmospheric entry? Megatron responds, what kind of question is that? You already know the answer. Good, because wasn't planning to fight clean. Grabbing his ion rifle, he aims it at Megatron's face and fires. As Megs burns up, his left elbow joint melts, and his arm crash lands in Utah. I'm assuming Utah's where Five Nights at Freddy's takes place. Otherwise, that was
maybe I have to play what kind of question is that? It's like, hey, will your body burn up in space after I shoot you in the face?
Shoot you in the face, yeah.
Like, why are you bothering asking him? Just shoot him in the face. If you're going to shoot him in the face, just shoot him in the face. The good guy doesn't ask, hey, is your body just going to cease to exist after I fucking kill you? That's not the thing that the hero would do.
Anyway, his left elbow joint, his melts arm crashes Utah. Well, the rest of him ends up in the Arctic. Meanwhile, RC shoves Soundwave inside a stasis pod and launches him into space. After the Autobots go into stasis, Optimus entered a stasis pod, launches himself out in pursuit of Megatron.
But isn't Megatron dead?
No, he only got shot in the face.
And he melted in the atmosphere.
Earth. So if you have already seen this, we're going to click on this.
Oh, no, don't bother. It's just...
It's a audio renderer error. Please restart your computer. That's interesting.
It's great. It's just a Five Nights at Freddy's video where, it's the purple man going around killing people.
I don't know what that is.
It's the villain of Five Nights at Freddy's.
I thought the villain of Five Nights at Freddy's was like...
The villain of the Five Nights at Freddy's is the serial killer who killed all the children whose ghosts now inhabit the fucking...
I thought they weren't actually haunted.
They're actually
I thought that was the big twist, is it was
stupid. That is the twist, is that, They pretend that, oh no, they're not haunted. They're actually just doing something that they're programmed to do, but it turns out they're actually haunted.
I always thought it was the other way around.
I know.
I thought, because that's so obvious. I'm not going to sit here and talk shit on Five Nights at Freddy's. That's not
you know we'll get killed.
That's not what this is
about.
We
will be eviscerated for talking shit on Five Nights at Freddy's.
Then you already, if you have already seen this, and there's a link that may or may not be in the description, then you already know how this portion of the AU begins. So let's skip ahead to the year 1964 in the town of Christfield, Utah. Fredbear's Family Diner is booming and outgrowing Candy's Burgers and Fries.
I don't know why we care about Candy's Burgers and Fries.
Maybe they're important. Clara and William Afton have just had their first child, Michael Afton, and William makes his animatronics come to life, literally, through the power of Remnant. What is it? Well, it's simple. It's just raw emotion harvested from humans. Kind of like a Monsters, Inc., I think.
How does that work? How do you harvest raw emotion from humans?
Rumble, the red one in this alternate universe. No, it's just the red one.
No, Frenzy is red, Rumble is blue.
No, it's not. That's not how it works.
Shut up. You know the truth.
Yeah. No, he's the one that's in the show.
Frenzy's in the show too.
And but it's like a speaking major role.
Yes, later after season 1.
Yeah, I've been editing season 1 for
after season 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not yet. Rumble, the red one in this alternate universe, is working there during the day in a pretender shell to gain info on the humans, the human life, as a side gig. I feel like he could just hang out. There's people in costumes and animatronics and shit.
Anyway. I think what he means is that he's actually pretending to be a human. And
obviously that's what he means. I'm saying he doesn't have to do that. If he was just hanging out in like a children's entertainment venue as a robot man, I don't think anyone would mind.
Yeah.
He would blend right in. While working there, one day he overhears a couple talking at a table about infertility in children. He approaches the both of them in order to order.
Why would a couple who don't have kids show up to a child's restaurant?
Well, we don't know if they don't have kids yet. They're just talking about infertility in children. He approaches the both of them to order, and as they finish telling him what they wanted to eat, he tells them that he has friends who could help them with. Okay, so with their baby problem. Yeah, they are infertile, but they're eating. That seems like
they're eating at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, that seems incredibly like self-pitying.
Yeah, let's go where all the kids are, so that way we can feel bad that we don't have kids.
It's like you lose your hand in like an industrial accident. And you just hang out outside of like a piano store. And you're saying, I could have been a piano player. He handed them a card. What are your names? What are your names, any old ways? Is that how he talks?
No.
Pretty sure he doesn't. My name's Mike, and this is my wife, Lindsay, but it's spelt with a Z. Meanwhile, Wheeljack, Ratchet, and Rewind, who I don't know. Wheeljack, Ratchet, and Rewind are brought to a government facility after being caught working on a communications device in the woods. Rewind wakes up, looks around, and starts to plead for their lives. One of the men tells them that they've been captured to aid the world in their fight against the Decepticons, as some have been cited causing chaos.
Okay, so 2 things. 1, why would like your first go-to after waking up and finding out that you're like in prison be like, please don't kill me?
Meanwhile, a few weeks later.
And then I like the point that they say like, you're here to help us fight the Decepticons, which we know about because people saw them like Bigfoot. Like people have seen them, and we know what the Decepticons are, and we know you're not them.
Big giant robots, but the Decepticons are...
They got the purple logo.
Yeah,
it's obvious.
Everyone can...
Like people are like, no, we understand branding. We're America.
Yeah. There's basic stuff here, There's Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Captured to aid the world in the fight against the Decepticons, as some have been cited causing chaos. Meanwhile, and a few weeks later don't go together. Meanwhile means happening at the same time in a different location. A few weeks later means
you could have meanwhile and a few miles over.
Yeah, meanwhile a few miles away. A few weeks later, Rumble took the couple. He served directly to Darkmount and directly to Shockwave. Rumble explains the situation to him, taking an opportunity to experiment with the humans and their DNA. He says yes, takes a sample of hair, and as Rumble escorts the couple outside the facility. Cut to 9 to 10 years later.
By the way, I want to point out, I think that Shockwave is also supposed to be in a pretender shell. Like, he didn't just take him to a giant fucking robot and like, he's like, oh, give me your hair.
Wait, could the Pretenders, I thought Pretenders were small.
No, Pretenders so
they were full-size Transformers?
Yeah, no, so Pretenders were full-size Transformers in the comics, because the Pretenders only showed up in the comics. They were still the size of Transformers, even though they were wearing Pretender shells that made them look like humans for some fucking reason.
They were huge humans?
Yes, they were giant humans.
So anyway, the year is 1973 to 1974. The Aftons, I believe that was Michael and Lindsay. The Aftons had 2 more children, Elizabeth and Kenneth Afton.
Wait, they had 2 more children?
Yeah.
What do you mean they had 2 more children? They didn't have children.
Well, I mean, any child is more child if you didn't have one to begin with.
Or wait, are these the people who had kids?
Claire and William Afton. Yeah, they're the ones who own the diner. They're not the ones who... Okay. So, they've had 2 more children.
Mike Schmidt. There's a second Mike? There's a new Mike.
No, I'm assuming this is Mike.
Okay.
This is the Mike. Begins work at Fredbear's Family Diner as a night guard. And while Candy's Burgers and Fries saw an uptake in customers due to the success of Fredbear's, they were driven out of town. Mike, weeks later, goes back to Shockwave and asks him about progress with his child.
Took 9 years?
9 to 10 years. He's like, oh yeah, that guy got trot up to Dark Mountain. Anyway, Shockwave gave him a large smile on his screen face. He has no... Does he have a screen face?
Okay, so I guess he's not. I guess he is just a giant fucking robot. But
yeah, but he's got a little doop dot on his face.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't know what Shockwave's supposed to look like in this continuity.
He's got a screen face. A screen face told him that he was done, and he had made a nursery for her. He takes him to the nursery to receive his child. He takes her home, not knowing Shockwave has given him an experimental bioweapon meant to aid him take over the Earth. He also he finds, recovers, and restores Soundwave, but upon observing his plans, Soundwave deems Shockwave unfit for the position of leader due to his genetic experiments and sloppy plan to take over the Earth.
That doesn't sound like Shockwave or Soundwave in any way. Like, I don't think Soundwave's waking up. Like, number one question, where's Megatron? Number two question, okay, Megatron's not here. What are your plans? Okay, I'll help.
Explain to me how a series of small little men coming out of my window chest can assist your plan. And if they can't, then I'm out of here. I need to find somewhere.
Yeah,
somewhere
I don't feel like he's like, no, you're not fit to lead. I'm Soundwave.
Mike becomes overprotective of his daughter as well, and they move to the next town over. 6 years later, all right, not much happened in 1980, so let's speedrun this damn thing. Mary's mother, Lindsay, dies from leukemia, and Mary becomes extremely attached to her father. Mike becomes overprotective of his daughter as well. They move to the next town over, and Mary gets enrolled in a school there, and she meets her senpai, aka the person who she's obsessed with.
Never use senpai. You're not even allowed to use senpai, ironically.
Kenneth Afton, finding solace and tranquility in him because she gets beaten to a bruised and bloody mess regularly by Elizabeth and her friends.
Who's Elizabeth?
Elizabeth was Kenneth Afton's younger sister. Okay. Kenneth Afton being the child of the people who own Freddy Fazbear's. So she gets randomly brutalized. Cassidy, Susie, and Sashley.
Is that a typo?
I'm assuming she's either like Ashley but like wearing a sash. It's like a robot chicken joke. Due to the fact that her genetic alterations have stunted her growth. Oh, I read this really wrong because there's a period in here. She's beaten to a bloody mess regularly by Elizabeth and her friends, should be a comma, Cassidy, Susie, and Ashley, due to the fact that her genetic alterations have stunted her growth. All right, with that out of the way, well, let's skip 2 years ahead. Kenny's has been bullied by his older cousin Terrence. Who's Kenny? Kenneth, right. You do abbreviate Kenneth to Kenny. Has been bullied by his older cousin Terrence for a while.
Why do we keep introducing new kids?
New kids and having them be bullied, or bullies. But thinks that his birthday will be a breath of peace. He invites Mary to his birthday, taking this opportunity to get closer to her crush. She accepts the invite. So, with lots of O's, Kenny's birthday goes to shit. Just as him and Mary get to know each other promptly, he's shoved in the mouth of Fredbear by his dickbag cousin and his dickbag friends. His tears moisten the spring locks, not being able to get out of the show mode. Fredbear panics and bites down.
Wait, a robot panicked and bit down? Why?
Yeah, because the robots panic. Haven't you ever seen
And
Lost
why
in
does
Space?
his tears moistening the internal
The
mechanism?
spring locks, and he's not able to get out of show. Freddy Bear panics and bites down while everyone panics. The authorities, William and Henry, are called. When William gets there, he makes one promise to his son. I will put you back together. Okay, so I guess his son was cleaved.
Is he dead?
In the meanwhile, the restaurant rebrands into Freddy Fazbear's Pizza with 3 new faces and 1 face with a new name. Freddy, originally named Cake Bear, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy. William gets jealous of all the other kids living their lives while Kenny is stuck at the hospital in a coma, so out of anger he lures 2 children into the back room that year and kills them.
Okay. I was like, I don't like where this is going.
William...
It's still sucks. Like, okay, now we got serial killer dad for some reason.
Yeah, two children, or like which 2 children?
Yeah, was it the shit friends who did this, or did he just...
Oh, it says Jeremy Jr. has his head smashed in with a sledgehammer, while Fritz Jr., there's 2 juniors, is shot in the head by William a week later. Hides the bodies inside the suits of Bonnie and Foxy.
I think I did this like once, but I guess it's...
Yeah, I know. I thought so too. At the time of their deaths, they were 12 and 11 years old, respectively.
Did we need their ages? I feel like that just makes it weird.
Eventually, 2 months later, he kidnaps his own son from the hospital and takes him to his basement with the help of his business partner Henry. They extract his soul, remove skin and muscle tissue
organs. Why do they have
this
technology?
All of his organs. And then it's that one face that's made out of like Japanese characters that's like looking at you.
Yeah, I feel like
that means his dick.
Yeah, no, like it absolutely means his dick. Why are we drawing attention to the fact that a little boy's dick got blended up and stuck into a robot? We're getting into weird territory.
Because if you don't specify that they put it in the robot, then you don't know what they did with it, and that could be worse. Since we know what happened to it, we don't have to like make assumptions. Henry and William then extract Megatron's arm from its resting place in a field and bring it to a large set.
Why were they the ones who knew about this?
I was kind of expecting, because it said like that they went, like, when did they crash? It says in the intro that they go into stasis, so I'm assuming it's like the original where they crash land on Earth like millions of years ago.
Yeah, so why has this arm not been found by the government? These 2 yahoos in a pickup truck with their son's blended.
Yeah, I was kind of assuming that the like Megatron's arm was going to be like underneath
Yeah, Fredbear's.
Yeah, I thought that like it was.
Yeah, I assumed that we were going like a Transformers animated route, and Megatron was the one making all the bad shit happen.
Transformers animated. Henry and William then extract Megatron's arm from its resting place in the field, and they bring it to a large shed where they can begin melting it down. The year is 1983 to 1984 at this point. 1983, he kills Susie Colford by cutting her in half and hides the body inside Chica's suit. She was 12 at the time. I don't know who he is or
I'm assuming it's serial killer dad.
Assuming it's William, yeah, but I don't know who Susie Colford is. A year later, after another Clouser.
It wasn't Sashley.
It definitely wasn't Sashley. Michael is brought in as the manager of the revamped and reopened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in the basement. However, Kenny's new body is finally ready, so Afton and Henry decide to activate it during a show, causing a power surge, killing the lights temporarily. Kenneth activates and looks around and looks at his father. Dad? Before they could reunite properly, Freddy kicks open the door. What the hell was that? Henry explains the situation to him, while William helps Kenny get readjusted. So Freddy's a character at this point.
Yeah, Freddy's a guy?
Over the coming months, he reunites with his family and remaining friends. The Autobots gain an ally in the form of Chromia.
Chromia is an Autobot.
And yeah, I know, but she appears. She wasn't there to begin with. She crash lands or something, and she's like, okay, now I am here. With the help of military government forged mech suits out of Decepticons scrap. Did they die? Is it Megatron's body that crash landed in the Arctic?
Yeah, because they melted down. Like okay, you find alien technology, you melt it down for fucking scrap metal.
Yeah, you just because it's space metal. It's better than regular metal. Despite the gain of a teammate and the suits, the Decepticons under the current rule of Shockwave have taken near complete control of Russia, the U.S., and the Middle East.
Well, okay. So Soundwave's like, okay, your fucking plan is stupid, Shockwave. Get the fuck out. Meanwhile, Shockwave's plan fucking conquers the most important military powers in the world.
Yeah. Months later, Kenny starts to discover the truth about his body and has a breakdown about it. Isn't he a robot now?
Fuck if I know.
Doesn't he know that he's a robot? Anyway, Mary starts to become more feral, eventually giving into her primal urges, killing and eating a fellow classmate.
Was it Sashley?
Poor Sashley. She died as she lived. Unnamed for the most part. Mysterious. I guess that was Shockwave's plan, was to make a weird feral monster baby that eats people. Horrified by what she did, Mary throws the body in a river and vomits. Buzzsaw catches all this and takes it to Shockwave, who sends all of them out to find and capture her.
No one cares about Buzzsaw, and why is Buzzsaw, if Soundwave isn't working with Shockwave, why is Buzzsaw working with Shockwave?
Meanwhile, Kenny, in a state of anguish, wanders past his house and discovers the abandoned shed where Henry and his dad melted down Megatron's hand. He stares at it and hears a voice coming from the shed. He goes inside and looks at the mangled metal hand. He goes up to it and touches it. Megatron's pain, agony, and hatred manifests as a ghost inside Kenneth's body. He gets up and looks around, sees a mirror. Looking in it, he sees not his face, but Megatron's. Megatron introduces himself to Kenny and then proceeds to possess his body on and off for weeks just to fuck with him. Meanwhile, Shockwave sends Soundwave's data cards after Mary to find and capture her, believing her to be a threat that needs to be tamed and contained.
You're the one who made her!
Yeah.
You did this!
Well, Megatron... Yeah, it's like you put a bunch of irons in the fire, off the bat. You got to figure out which ones you end up actually needing to use, and then you take the rest of them out.
Well, what even was this plan? It's not like he made, the zombie play. He's like, I'm going to take over this world by making one monster girl.
Yeah. Or it was an experiment to see if he could make monsters, and he did. Shockwave sends Soundwave's data cards to Mary to find and capture, believing her to be a threat needs to be contained, while Megatron makes a plan to go through Kenny's body to get his back, and the Decepticons find and repair Soundwave. At the same time,
Soundwave... When did Soundwave get killed?
He got launched into space in a stasis.
No, but they found him and they reactivated him, and Soundwave is like, your plan is stupid, Shockwave.
I missed that. Yeah, no, I'm not.
I guess Shockwave killed him, and that's why he has control of the cassettes?
Yeah, maybe. He says Soundwave's data cards. Is there a series of Transformers where Shockwave has a computer screen face and Soundwave has cards?
No, not that I know of. Which I know of. I know of most of it.
Not like Rescue Bots or something?
I mean,
just one of the ones
maybe Rescue Bots. I didn't watch Rescue Bots, but I don't think there are actually any villains in Rescue Bots.
What is the point? They're all the cooler ones. While Megatron makes a plan through Kenny's body to get his back, and the Decepticons find and repair Soundwave, at the same time they find Megatron's body in the Arctic, so they go there and break him out of the ice. The cons eventually do that and take him to the medbay to begin repairs. It's been a few months. The twins Cassidy and Gabriella Bassett are having a birthday party.
Why are we introducing more little kids?
Because that's Five Nights at Freddy's. There's just... I know, I feel like you could have done more with the characters you already had. Really,
Sashley needed more development.
Tied everything together. Justice for Sashley. Their father puts pressure on William to make sure that his kids don't get hurt or go missing. William does the opposite. He goes missing
and hurts himself.
And hurts himself. Let's focus on the twins for a bit. Cassidy hates her twin sister because because Gabby is trying to be better and take attention away from her. Gabby is bubbly, happy, and fun. Cassidy, while sometimes pleasant to be around, is the complete opposite of her twin. Anyways, The party goes well until the twins get into an argument and take their fight into the salad bar, where Cassidy grabs a ladle and bashes Gabby over the head with it, causing Gabby to cry and run away.
Okay.
William, taking advantage of her emotions, lures her to the bathroom, knocks her out with chloroform, gags her, and shoves her inside a limb stretcher connected to Freddy's limbs he installed inside Freddy's torso.
Why is there a limit? What?
I know, it's probably Five Nights at
Wait,
Freddy's.
and which kid is this happening to? Is this the one that cried and ran away, or the one that was just angry and whacked with the ladle?
I don't know. Cassidy goes looking for her. Oh, okay, so it was Gabby who ran away. Yeah, cried and ran away. Cassidy goes looking for her, much like her sister. William lures and drugs her, but this time shoves her inside Fredbear's suit, basically a spring-loaded Iron Maiden, and sets the spring locks off, killing her. They were both 8 at the time of their deaths. He then proceeds to reactivate Freddy and lets him perform. Gabby is torn limb from limb. Eventually, the souls of the kids wanting revenge possess the animatronics, and they begin to terrorize Mike at night, thinking he's William.
Why is Megatron just serial killing children? We have
No,
two...
this is Megatron. This is his dad.
Oh, this is the dad?
This is the dad. Yeah, William's the dad.
Okay.
He's the one who's been killing kids.
Okay, but why is he killing kids still? Like, he was upset that his kid didn't have, like, a life, but now his kid has a life, and he's still going around killing kids.
I sure hope William's the dad. Let me scroll back.
William's
up.
the dad.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, the military catch on to what Mary really is after capturing and hacking into Buzzsaw. They corner her with the intent to capture, study, and possibly use as a weapon of war, but before they can get a hold of her, Mary begins to get stressed out, and her whole body begins to change, growing 6 times her original size, which we were already led to believe was smaller than normal, so that's not actually that as impressive as it could have been.
So she's Monster Girl?
Yeah, maybe turning into a giant bipedal lizard. However, before she could fight them off, Rumble swoops in, and Swoop rumbles in and punches her through a building.
Does it say Swoop?
No, I made that up. The other data cards and the Seekers distract the Autobots and military. After the two have a brief and bloody skirmish, she shrinks back down due to her body burning loads of fat. She looks somewhat malnourished. After she turns back into a human, Rumble approaches her, smiles like a douche, and asks, "Have you ever been disarmed?" She looks at him confused and scared. Rumble then rips off her arms. But don't worry, she can regenerate. It just takes a long time. Ravage rushes to the scene and asks,
Why the fuck did you do that, Rumble? I thought it'd be funny. I don't know.
Ravage sprints in and says animal noises because he can't talk. Rumble responds, so she can't be a threat, at least not for a short while. And Shockwave said to capture her. So, Ravage replies, "You're a dumbass." Mary passes out due to all the shit that just happened. Rumble tells Ravage to get
She didn't
bandages.
pass out from the blood loss. She passed out from the shit that just happened.
Rumble tells Ravage to go get bandages for Mary's arm stumps, but he can't because he doesn't have thumbs. I made that part up too. The data cards wrap her up, capture her, I believe she's already captured, and take her to Shockwave. Meanwhile, the Constructicons are deployed to collect extra materials for Space Bridge to bring an army of Decepticons to Earth to conquer it. Optimus.
I feel like this basically has nothing to do with Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, Five Nights at Freddy's is an incidental thing that's kind of just
I feel like, yeah, no, these are two different plots. They need to be brought together a little bit more tightly. Optimus approaches them asking where Megatron is. They lie to him and tell them they don't know. Do they know? I don't think they know yet. Prime asks again. Longhaul drops the steel rods he's carrying to go over and try and kill him.
Okay.
But just as he gets the drop on Prime, Optimus punches him through his front grille. Knowing that they won't be able to take him on as individuals, they combine into Devastator, but Prime beats him quickly by placing bombs he stole from Seekers on his visor. Later that week.
my brain like autofilled that to Prime put the bombs on his
yeah, like headbutted him. Later that week, hearing of Mary's disappearance, later that day, Kenneth strikes a deal with Megatron. Kenny saves Mary and Megs gets his body back. Yeah, right, Megatron. I thought there was another character like named Meg.
It wouldn't surprise me if we introduced a Meg at this point.
Megatron agrees, and after a week of planning in the middle of the night, and with the help of very tired Bonnie, they go to Dark Mountain and get...
Wait, Bonnie? Why is Bonnie tired? Bonnie's a robot.
Bonnie, who was... Somebody's soul was in Bonnie now or something?
Are they?
Yeah, didn't the children come back?
Wouldn't the children be trying to kill Kenneth's dad, not helping Megatron for no fucking reason? And why would they get tired if they're fucking vengeful spirits in a robot?
Well, yeah, vengeance is tiring work, and also they've been tormenting Mike, they've been tormenting Mike, not William, on accident. So maybe they're just like they just feel like they've wasted all their time. I don't know. Hearing of Mary's disappearance, Kenneth strike deal. Meg gets bite back. Megatron agrees, and after a week of planning, in the middle of the night, and the very tired Bonnie, they go to Dark Mountain, get in using Megatron's voice. Soundwave, unhappy with Shockwave's plan to take over the planet since Megs didn't want conquest at all, he helps them and takes them to Megatron's body itself while giving Kennetron the down low on the situation. Realizing the gravity of the situation, he goes to free Mary while Megs returns to his body. The soul transfer is swift, and as Megatron slowly reactivates, Mary gets acquainted with Kenny and admits her love for him. He starts to cry, and in the heat of the moment yells out, "I love you too." 3 exclamation points. Meanwhile, Megatron goes to basically beat the shit out of Shockwave as he yells at the Seekers for recharging instead of guarding. The Autobots, meanwhile, find Optimus, repair him. What happened to Optimus?
He put bombs on his face.
He put bombs on his own face. Yeah, that was it. Seeing his own brother in shambles, Prime seizes the siege and agrees to discussion.
Ceases the siege?
Seeing his own brother...
Is Megatron his brother?
In shambles.
Why would he be in shambles? He kicked the shit out of Shockwave.
Weeks later, the treaty is written in peace while strain is made between factions. Meanwhile, back at Fazbear, William realizes that the robots are haunted, so he goes to the pizzeria and he, too tired, didn't feel like summarizing.
I'm assuming he dies.
There's some YouTube videos. Later in the week, at Dark Mount, a party is set up to celebrate the end of the war, and everyone gets dressed for the occasion. Just on the outskirts of town, Megatron and Prime are reminiscing and talking about everything that's happened over the last few thousand years, when suddenly a giant explosion swallows them and most of everyone else and sends them back in time.
Okay.
This is not the time or the level of complexity that you should think about adding time travel into your thing. So anyway, Dominion, : this is not that long, so let's just run through it. Starting with the first part, the ancestors of the modern-day Autobots and Decepticons, the Maximals, led by Optimus Primal, and the Predacons, led by Megazarek, Beast Wars Megatron. Is that like a Japanese name? Or
I don't... Because, well, there's Black Zarek, and, like, the name Zarek is really, really fucking confused, because in, like, the comics and the American show, the guy's name was Zarek, but in the Japanese version, like, the guy's name was actually Scorponok, and Zarek was the suit that he wore. But Zarek was, Zarek's like an organic person who wears, you know, an armor that lets him be a headmaster.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Oh, okay. I feel like I remember something about headmasters. They land on Earth millions of years ago to fight for the future, taking on beast forms covered in faux flesh and fur and or feathers to hide energy signatures from one another. Megazarek plans to change history by going back in time and stopping the Quintesson invasion and conquering of Cybertron using the Golden Disc for its intended purpose. A conductor of quantum energy. Okay. Recognizing the threat to space and time, Maximals try to stop them. It takes years, but they are too late, and Time Machine is on the fritz.
I do have to point out that the Golden Disc in Beast Wars is a real object that humanity really made.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of information on it.
Yeah, it's just a record with, like, instructions on how to make a record player, and then it plays, like, The Sounds of Earth, which is this really abstract, stupid fucking thing if you actually listen to it. It's like, yes, this is our whole history, and aliens won't understand by listening to this, and I, as a human being who has all the context, couldn't understand. Oh my fucking god!
Sorry, everyone at home. My cat fell off the table. Party celebrates Dominion on Run Start Red Autobots Maximals. Megazarek plans to change history going back in time, stopping Quintessons. Maximals try to stop him. Takes years, but they're too late. Time Machine's on the fritz, and after some fighting, the thing explodes, and both sides make a break for it, though none escape the blast. Everyone who got swallowed by the explosion awakens, and anyone from the future finds himself on prehistoric Earth. Dinobot finds them and explains the situation after figuring out that they're from the future. They find their way to Maximal headquarters. Dinobot explains the situation again to the Maximals. Understanding, Optimus Primal sends Cheetor out to scout. He eventually comes back, having been followed by Vertebrake and the rest of the Predacons.
Is this supposed to line up with Kingdom?
A battle breaks out between the Maximals and Predacons. The Predacons retreat into other dimensions with the Golden Disc. The Maximals give chase, and eventually the Predacons are defeated, and the surging time machine is destroyed.
Oh, right, I was telling a story about the Golden Disc before the cat fell off the table.
Setting everything back to normal. Yeah, you got some...
Who's Jeremy Fitzzeger?
This is Jeremy Jr. and Fritz Jr. They're the first two kids that William murders.
Oh, okay. Why do they matter?
Kenneth, Mary Schmidt. Yeah, she's small.
She got a tail.
Oh, so Kenneth's... Okay, this is actually very revealing. Kenneth's robot body is that of a human boy. I thought he got turned into one of the mascot dancers.
I think he is supposed to be a
12 feet tall lizard.
Yeah, he did say she goes like 4 times bigger.
So. Yeah, 6 times larger, and if she's normally 2'3", which is kind of I think that's kind of short for a 9-year-old. Or a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that's incredibly short for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, like 4'3", I think is short for a 9-year-old. But I don't know anything. I'm tall in real life, so I probably don't.
Why does it look like the one kid like has a beard?
He's just got a very strong chin. This loser with a tank top tucked into his shorts. How is he bullying anyone?
Was he a bully? They didn't say that these were bullies.
Oh, that's right. These are just random kids. So anyway, my opinion is that you could stand to lose a lot of that. If there's any 2 characters that don't seem like there's not enough going on, then just combine them into one character who does 2 things. And
maybe have the dad be killing the bullies. I don't know. I guess it makes it like more tragic that they're innocent kids, but I will say that it's not. It doesn't seem to be as bad as you think it is, but it's just a concept. And I will say that things get bad in the execution, never the idea.
No, that's not true.
Name something that's... Name a movie or a show or something like that was just bad in the idea.
There are plenty of ideas out there that are bad. And if they were executed like perfectly, they would still be bad.
I think that with good execution, you can turn any bad idea into a good thing. But yeah, well, thanks for coming to the Fraternacons special event where we talk about fanfic that never was.
Where we read this thing.
It was fun.
My cat threw himself off the counter because
He paused the video once, and then he decided to commit seppuku. So
I paused the record.
Or if you hated what you saw here, leave a downvote. Subscribe for more stuff you hate.
And if you liked what you saw here, pirate all of the Five Nights at Freddy's games.